At the construction site of Ust-Yavinsky mine, tubing rings are being mounted at full speed. It has its own outdoor storage where tubings are sorted by rings and numbering in the ring. They are delivered to the shaft in the appropriate order to construct tubing column. There are lots of nuances that should always be taken into account within tubing rings installation. Lead filters must be straightened prior to delivery to the shaft. They should be cleaned and packed into special inventory containers used to descend them into the shaft.
Спуск производится у нас подъемом.
Descent is carried out up to the horizon, to the site where lining is mounted, and we install it on site. We set it in both directions, from right to left and from left to right, as per surveyor's instructions for ring placement.
Смотря по маршрутским указаниям, куда какой отсос двигать.
First two tubing rings and subsequent tubing rings consist of tubings with wall thickness of 90 millimeters. Tubing ring is composed of 15 segments. The first two tubing rings act as bearing rings, which are subsequently used for water seal. The processed vertical and horizontal sides of each tubing must be thoroughly cleaned from snow, ice, stuck rock parts, cement, sand, and mud before tubing installation. The presence of even the smallest particles prevents tight contact of tubing sides with fillers, which could consequently lead to infiltration of water through joints.
Главным итогом второго квартала стало наше успешное продвижение в монтаже тюбинговых колец на первом стволе.
The main result of the second quarter was our successful progress in installation of tubing rings at the first shaft. By the end of this work, our team got very experienced in it, practice it for second nature. They mount, let's say, up to 3 or 4 rings per day. We exceeded the project target by 2 times. We have finished, so to speak, tubing installation at the first shaft.
Не так давно монтаж тюбинга на первом стволе.
Было установлено
183 tubing rings have been installed. Each ring is composed of 15 segments. This amounts to 2,745 pieces in total.
штук.
Dalman Haniel Shock Destroy team is now preparing for sinking of the salt part of the first shaft.
По второму стволу второй квартал мы в связи с тем, что
In the course of work at the second shaft, we have made some changes into the project due to the fact that project geology has been different from that foreseen initially by the project. On this basis, we amended the project and successfully implemented these changes. For example, punching of 2 traditional wooden water seal curbs and installing of 2 chemical rings.
было залито 2 химических кольца.
Installation of tubings is suspended here due to supply problems, but the work is carried out at full speed. We decided not to disable freezing at the second shaft, and we resumed tunneling to avoid downtime. Later we will get back to the installation of tubings. On the contrary, we have ceased rock freezing at the first shaft, and at the moment the circulation is carried out here at increased brine temperature in accordance to the freezing process. This is so-called natural process of ice wall thawing.
На данный момент сейчас просчитываются.
At this moment, we are developing the program of artificial ice wall thawing because we cannot begin reinforcement of the shaft without complete ice wall thawing.
Для водопроводного охлаждения невозможно будет приступить к армировке ствола.
Sinkers have reached the boundaries of carnallite zone at the second shaft. This is where the level of danger raises because these rocks are very unstable and exposed to moisture, which can lead them to crumble. Moreover, there is a possibility of escape of explosive gases from the rock mass. This zone should be sunk as quickly as possible, while constantly monitoring the presence and concentration of hazardous gases and reinforce it most securely.
И плюс еще один немаловажный фактор – это повышенное выделение газов, возможно.
And there is another important factor. That is the increased escape of gas, the possibility of increased release of gas within area sinking. That is why there are higher requirements to the rules of safety at work, as well as to the blasting operations and control of blasting effects. To do this, paramilitary mine rescue fighters are being involved to check the condition of mine atmosphere after blasting in the carnallite area, and only after this they give permission to tunneling crew to resume work.
Проходческой бригаде на возобновление работы.
The company is planning to finish sinking of the second shaft to the bottom level and get to installation of tubings. At the first shaft, they plan sinking in the salt and inset of the future main horizontal workings.